Welcome to the channel, where today's journey takes us into the hidden corridors of American numismatic history, to uncover a story so electrifying and unexpected that it might just shake your perception of ordinary pocket change forever. What if a small mistake, seemingly insignificant and lost among billions of coins, turned a humble 2006 Roosevelt Dime into the most valuable coin ever struck by the United States Mint, a coin so rare, so mysterious, and so shockingly valuable that even seasoned experts whisper about its existence with awe and disbelief, because this isn't just about a misprint or a common anomaly, it's about a stunning series of minting errors, secretive slip-ups, inexplicable oversights, and collector legends that elevate this coin to the realm of modern treasure lore. And as we dive deep into the mechanisms of the Denver Mint during that fateful production year, we begin to unravel the layers of this numismatic enigma, where inconsistencies in die alignment, missing clad layers, off-center strikes, double denominations, and full brockage imprints weren't just isolated events, but parts of a puzzling chain of anomalies that suggest something far more complex and potentially intentional, leading to wild speculation that rogue mint employees may have purposefully struck experimental errors or test planchets outside normal protocol, while others argue that the sheer scale of production chaos in 2006 created the perfect storm for a handful of once-in-a-lifetime dime errors to be accidentally released into circulation, slipping past quality control, unnoticed by even the most stringent mint inspectors, until years later when unsuspecting Americans began to stumble upon strange, unexplainable coins in their spare change, coins bearing doubled Roosevelt profiles, missing reverse details, inverted mint marks, or entirely blank planchets, all pointing to production techniques gone awry or perhaps to secret test strikes never meant for public hands. And suddenly the 2006 dime transformed from common to mythic, as numismatists across the nation began feverishly examining their change, digging through coin rolls, and scouring estate sales for the elusive variants that began surfacing online for astronomical prices, some selling for hundreds, then thousands, and eventually rumors spread of private sales in the five-figure range, often behind closed doors, where elite collectors exchanged these ghost coins like black market artifacts, with no public records or verification, only word of mouth and grainy photos that sent the community into speculative frenzy. And while the U.S. Mint remained publicly silent on the matter, retired employees began leaking anecdotes, stories of miscommunication between production lines, of faulty die setups left unchecked, and of entire bags of misstruck coins mysteriously vanishing from inventory logs, fueling theories that certain 2006 dimes were part of a botched experimental batch or unauthorized run that was never supposed to reach the public. And yet here they were, surfacing in pawn shops, thrift stores, and even vending machine returns, often mistaken for damaged coins until keen-eyed collectors recognized the peculiarities, die clash patterns that didn't match any known varieties, off-metal strikes that defied standard specifications, or even reverse designs struck from incompatible dies, suggesting hybrid minting accidents never officially documented. And as the mystery grew deeper, expert numismatists began devoting entire symposiums to the investigation, comparing examples under high-powered microscopes, cross-referencing known errors, and debating whether these dimes were the product of isolated blunders or a systemic breakdown at the Denver Mint. And even now, nearly 2 decades later, new variants are still being discovered, such as the infamous Ghost Roosevelt Dime with a spectral outline of the president's head and no date visible, or the missing torch reverse where the emblematic torch, olive branch, and oak branch appear half-formed or entirely absent, and each new find adds fuel to the fire, drawing in new treasure hunters, hobbyists, and speculators, all chasing the dream of finding that one perfect error coin that could net them life-changing money. And this fever is not without historical precedent, as coin-collecting frenzies have erupted before. Think of the 1955 double-die Lincoln cent or the 2004 Wisconsin quarter with an extra leaf. But never has a Roosevelt dime, especially from such a recent and seemingly mundane year, captured the collective obsession of the numismatic world so completely. And part of this allure lies in its deceptive normalcy, for the 2006 dime was struck in the hundreds of millions, designed to be forgettable, to pass unnoticed in millions of hands every day. And yet it is precisely in this overwhelming familiarity that the true anomaly hides, like a needle in a haystack of steel and copper, challenging collectors to question what they think they know, to scrutinize every coin with renewed intensity, and to stay vigilant because the next discovery could be lying dormant in a dusty jar, under a car seat, or buried in a forgotten piggy bank, waiting for the one person who knows exactly what to look for, and that's the power of this mystery. How a common object can become legendary through a perfect storm of error, secrecy, and discovery, how whispers of the 2006 dime that sold for an undisclosed six-figure amount in a private auction have kept the hunt alive, how rumors of a mismatched obverse-reverse combo struck from both Roosevelt and Sacagawea dies continue to surface despite no official acknowledgement, and how conspiracy theories abound of internal mint cover-ups, lost shipment logs, and unexplained disappearances of coin bags that may have contained the rarest examples, while other researchers point to inconsistencies in die maintenance reports from 2006 that suggest gaps in quality control and even deliberate testing of new alloys that could explain the strange colorations and weight discrepancies found in certain dimes. And as each theory gains traction, the community grows more divided. Are we looking at a small number of genuine mistakes, or is this part of something bigger, a shadowy episode in mint history where rules were bent or broken, and coins were allowed to escape that never should have existed? And if that's true, then what else is out there? What other undiscovered rarities lie in wait, and what secrets might they reveal about the inner workings of the nation's most secretive minting facility? Because every discovery opens new questions, new trails to follow, and new dreams to chase, and in this hunt, it's not just about the money or the thrill, it's about being part of something greater, a grand unfolding mystery that bridges past and present, accident and intention, luck and obsession, and as long as new 2006 dime variants continue to emerge, as long as collectors find strange errors and post grainy photos that defy explanation, the legend of the coin that was never meant to be will continue to grow, consuming forums, captivating YouTube audiences, and fueling the hope that maybe, just maybe, the next dime you touch could be the one that rewrites the history books, flips the numismatic market upside down, and makes you the owner of the most valuable modern US coin ever minted. So check your pockets, turn over every coin, and never stop looking, because the mystery of the 2006 dime is far from over, and the next chapter might begin with you. Thank you for joining us on this journey into the unknown, and if you found this story as gripping as we did, don't forget to like, subscribe, and keep watching, because we're just getting started. Next, 1997 P1 dimes. What if a small mistake made it the most valuable coin ever struck? Welcome to the channel, where today we unravel one of the most astonishing, emotionally charged, and intellectually gripping stories in American numismatic history, the mystery, legacy, and explosive value of the 1997 P1 dime USA coin, a coin so deceptively ordinary in appearance that it could easily be sitting in your pocket change right now. Yet beneath its worn silver-toned surface lies a series of unbelievable minting errors, production anomalies, and an origin story so rare and full of tension that even the most seasoned coin collectors are left speechless. So buckle in as we take you on a relentless journey through conspiracy, historical missteps, expert analysis, and the kind of wild obsession that only surrounds something worth potentially millions, all stemming from a minting year that should have been routine but turned into an epic saga of confusion and controversy when a small batch of dimes, bearing the Philadelphia P mint mark from 1997, began to surface with errors so subtle yet profound that their discovery sent shockwaves across the numismatic community. Some struck on foreign planchets, others with ghosted elements, double dies, off-center strikes, weak rims, and perhaps the most puzzling of all, a few specimens that appear to have no copper core at all, raising questions about whether these were experimental strikes, rogue mint escapes, or just the result of a once-in-a-generation alignment of production failures and oversight. And while initial reports were dismissed as fantasy or misidentification, the tide changed when a Florida collector discovered a dime with no visible clad layer, unusually high relief, and an off-metal weight that defied every known category of U.S. coinage, and when metallurgical testing confirmed the alloy wasn't standard for any U.S. denomination. Rumors began circulating of a hidden test run that was never meant to leave the mint, possibly linked to covert experimentation during a time when the Treasury was evaluating metal costs and anti-counterfeiting features, with whispers that the mint may have been testing nickel-less compositions or planchets from abandoned foreign contracts. And yet this lone dime somehow escaped, hidden in plain sight for years, until sharp-eyed collectors began scrutinizing their change under microscopes, magnifiers, and UV lights in hopes of finding one of these elusive anomalies. And that's when the feeding frenzy began. Auctions lit up, online forums exploded, and coin shops across the nation reported being inundated with people hoping to cash in on a coin they may have overlooked for decades, while at the same time, a darker undercurrent emerged involving rumors that the mint had quietly attempted to buy back or confiscate certain specimens that shouldn't have reached the public, igniting a firestorm of speculation about whether this coin's true origin has been buried under layers of government secrecy and internal cover-ups, especially as former mint employees, some retired, some anonymously leaking documents, began to suggest that in 1997, a breakdown in quality control systems allowed a number of experimental blanks and misaligned die sets to be used in general circulation production lines. A theory supported by internal memos unearthed through FOIA requests indicating that unusual die pairings were authorized under ambiguous instructions meant for controlled testing, and now, with just a handful of verified error coins confirmed, the 1997 P1 dime has become a ghost story among collectors, a tantalizing symbol of what happens when ordinary objects collide with extraordinary circumstances, drawing in treasure hunters, forensic analysts, and seasoned appraisers who pore over every detail, from die cracks and rotation errors to edge reading inconsistencies and micro-weight deviations, with some coins showing machine doubling so pronounced it creates the illusion of 3D features, while others carry signs of being struck through debris, fabric, or even wire, suggesting chaotic conditions during their creation, and perhaps most intriguing of all is the theory that a few of these coins might have been struck on leftover blanks from discontinued foreign contracts, like the 10 centavos from Latin America or Southeast Asian coinage, introducing the possibility that the U.S. Mint, in a cost-cutting experiment, inadvertently created hybrid dimes that bear U.S. designs but rest on international foundations, a notion that has sent collectors diving into weight scales, X-ray fluorescence scanners, and archival procurement records, trying to trace any link to foreign metal imports that could match the anomaly, and the rabbit hole goes deeper as coin sleuths link the anomalies to a specific shift rotation in the Philadelphia Mint in early 1997, possibly connected to maintenance downtime, emergency backup machines, or die reuse protocols not normally approved during peak minting cycles. And then there's the legend of the midnight minting, a decades-old rumor about rogue mint employees striking rare coins under cover of night to sell later on the black market, with the 1997 P dime now seen by some as the clearest modern example of this underground operation, especially since a few known examples exhibit strike qualities inconsistent with high-speed automated minting, showing pressure inconsistencies and die chatter usually associated with manual adjustments or early test runs, all of which adds to the growing belief that these coins are not only real, but part of a larger puzzle yet to be solved, a puzzle involving mistakes too consistent to be random yet too rare to be intentional, with each discovery adding fuel to the fire, and as word spreads of a single 1997 P dime selling in a private transaction for a rumored six-figure sum, more and more people are digging through old jars, coin albums, and inherited collections, hoping to stumble across the next million-dollar mistake, while collectors report that even ordinary 1997 P dimes are being hoarded, hoping that new diagnostic markers will emerge proving their uniqueness, and professional grading companies like PCGS and NGC have begun issuing special notations for confirmed anomalies, further cementing their place in the pantheon of ultra-rare U.S. coins. And while some numismatists warn against hype, others argue we've only scratched the surface of what these coins represent, not just a fluke in metal or machinery, but a snapshot of a moment when the system faltered just enough to let something extraordinary slip through, and those who hold these coins now hold not just metal but mystery, a tangible question mark wrapped in copper-nickel and cloaked in uncertainty, a relic of what happens when control meets chaos. And if that's not enough, new finds are beginning to emerge with even stranger attributes: repunched mint marks, double ear lobes on Roosevelt, inverted torch tips, ghostly lettering near the rim. Coins that look like they've been struck twice with different alignments, and even one coin where the reverse torch and olive branches are completely missing, leading some to believe that there's more than one error variety out there and that a whole class of subvarieties remain unidentified, quietly hiding in the numismatic wilderness, waiting to be discovered, catalogued, and cherished. And as this hunt intensifies, the 1997 P dime has transformed from a mere monetary unit to a cultural Artifact, a test of perception, obsession, and persistence, embodying the age-old thrill of treasure hunting, but with a modern twist fueled by internet forums, social media coin communities, high-definition photography, and blockchain-authenticated sales that now push these tiny discs of metal into the same category of desirability as rare art, antique manuscripts, and ancient relics. And the story doesn't end here, because the deeper you look, the more anomalies appear, proof-like finishes on business strikes, strange rainbow toning not typically seen on clad dimes, and coins showing signs of prolonged die wear despite early year date stamps, all pointing toward the notion that the 1997 P dime was part of a turbulent production era, a perfect storm of mismanagement, mechanical fatigue, and possibly deliberate experimentation, and with each new auction, each verified anomaly, and each whispered story from inside the mint walls, the legend of the 1997 P1 dime only grows, not just as a coin, but as a symbol of how a single error can ripple through history, unlocking chapters we didn't even know were written. And as we continue to follow this thrilling saga of accidental brilliance, secret origins, and jaw-dropping valuations, don't forget to like this video, subscribe for more coin mysteries, and hit that bell icon, because you never know when the next pocket change find could change your life forever. Next, 1980, P1 dimes, where today's journey begins not with just any coin, but with one seemingly ordinary piece of American currency that may, in fact, conceal a mystery so deep and so inexplicably valuable that it has left even the most seasoned collectors and numismatists awestruck. What if a small mistake made the 1980 P. Roosevelt dime the most valuable coin ever struck in the United States? What if a dime worth 10 cents in your pocket right now is actually $1 million enigma hiding in plain sight, its true story buried under decades of mint secrecy, collector obsession, and silent, swirling rumors that just won't die? Picture a cold winter morning in 1980, the Philadelphia Mint buzzing with its usual energy, machines roaring, coins clinking, unaware that amidst billions of perfectly normal dimes, something went wrong, or perhaps perfectly right in the most unexpected way, a minting error so rare, so dramatic, that it would go unnoticed for years, possibly decades, until whispers in collector circles started surfacing about a few rogue dimes that didn't behave like the rest, coins missing key elements, double struck anomalies, or even struck on foreign planchets meant for other nations' currency altogether, and suddenly this unassuming 1980 P dime became a beacon of mystery, a vortex of numismatic obsession that pulls in anyone who hears even a fraction of the legend, drawing them into a rabbit hole of speculation, forensic coin analysis, auction records, lost mint archives, and ghost stories of government officials who might have tried to cover up a minting disaster, or maybe even purposely slipped out an experimental die or unapproved alloy test for reasons lost to time. Because what's a mint without a few secrets, and what's a coin without a story that can turn heads and empty wallets? Imagine collectors trading hushed emails and photos under the radar, authentication experts losing sleep over impossible compositions, copper cores where there should be clad layers, or reverse dies not matching any recorded configuration from that year. And then there's the legend of a shipment of test coins accidentally released into circulation from a trial batch meant to assess strike quality using exotic metals or foreign blanks, leading to wild discoveries like a 1980 P dime struck on a silver planchet, or another on a Peruvian 10 centavos blank, mismatched by weight, color, and conductivity, yet passed undetected through decades of everyday use, resting silently in drawers, jars, and pockets until one day, someone feels it's just a little too light or a little too shiny, triggering a cascade of research, consultation, and eventual revelation that this coin, this 1980 P. Roosevelt dime, might be unlike any other ever made, its imperfections not flaws, but miracles of mechanical error and bureaucratic oversight that have made it priceless. And as the story spread, so too did the fever, with collectors scouring their old change jars, estate sales seeing a spike in interest, grandkids checking their grandparents' sock drawers, and major grading companies reporting an influx of 1980 P dimes from hopeful owners chasing the myth, some receiving back grades confirming machine doubling, rotated dies, off-center strikes, or planchet composition anomalies, but none yet matching the full whispered profile of the most valuable one said to exist, a coin described in numismatic forums as the unicorn dime, said to bear a shadowy double portrait, a nearly imperceptible absence of the clad layer, and a die alignment rotation never before catalogued, Was it a one-off accident, a rogue employee's farewell prank, a test of a new blank supplier, or perhaps a specimen from a secret experimental run during the changeover of minting equipment that year? Nobody knows, but what we do know is that in March of 2004, a collector at a Midwestern coin show quietly purchased a 1980 P dime for $10, noting that it felt strange, and years later, with the help of metallurgic analysis, discovered it was struck on a 90% silver planchet, impossible by all mint records, yet undeniably real. And suddenly the legend had its first confirmed anomaly, its first glimpse of truth behind the swirling fog of speculation, launching investigations into mint logs, transport manifests, and obscure budget reports from that fiscal year that hint at missing planchets, damaged dies, and experimental requests from private contractors that disappeared without record, while retired mint workers, when tracked down and asked about oddities in 1980, give cryptic smiles and half-answers, suggesting without admitting that not everything was always by the book, and maybe, just maybe, a few strange coins made it out the doors, but what would they gain by revealing a buried truth that could shake confidence in minting integrity? Add to this the discovery in 2011 of a 1980 P dime with mirror-like surfaces, never officially listed as a proof issue, suggesting the possibility of unrecorded Philadelphia proof trials before the San Francisco facility assumed full control of proof coinage, and suddenly the 1980 P becomes even more enigmatic, its existence caught in a tug-of-war between documented history and whispered legend, and every time a new one surfaces, be it with clipped planchets, overstrikes from earlier coins, reverse designs from prior years, or metal content that defies the known specifications, the excitement mounts, auctions heat up, prices soar, and collectors double down on their search, hoping to be the one to unearth the masterpiece, the phantom, the coin that defies everything we think we know about minting procedures, that proves once and for all that not all errors are accidents, some are legends in disguise, hiding in our change, daring us to look closer, to ask the forbidden questions. What else is out there? How many are hiding undiscovered? And how could such an error escape unnoticed unless someone allowed it to? Conspiracies abound, with theories ranging from sabotage to secret government contracts, even tales of a now-deceased mint engraver who supposedly designed an alternate reverse never used and somehow had it paired with an incompatible obverse die for a test that accidentally made it into circulation, a pairing that should never exist, and yet some collectors claim to have seen one at a private auction, briefly, before it vanished again into obscurity, purchased anonymously for over $500,000, was it real? Was it a hoax? Or was it the legendary perfect error coin, the one that combines every known anomaly into one dime-sized miracle of imperfection? As these stories grow, so does the hunt, and with every new discovery, from missing clad layers to doubled mint marks, the 1980 P dime cements its place as not just a coin, but a phenomenon, a symbol of how chaos and precision can intersect in a single moment of mechanical misalignment to create something beyond value, something that tells a story not just of money, but of mystery, of human fallibility, of secrets buried beneath layers of copper and nickel, of machines that sometimes go rogue, and of the endless human desire to find meaning and worth in even the smallest things. And so we ask again, what if a small mistake made the 1980 P Roosevelt dime the most valuable coin ever struck, not because of what it was supposed to be, but because of everything it accidentally became? If you found this journey into America's most mysterious dime as captivating as we did, don't forget to like, subscribe, and join us next time as we uncover more hidden treasures that might just be hiding in your pocket right now. In the numismatic world, a story so tangled in secrecy, so electrified with drama and uncertainty, that it forces us to ask, what if a small, nearly invisible mistake at the U.S. Mint in 2006 turned an ordinary-looking D-mint-marked dime into one of the most valuable and mysterious coins ever struck in American history? What if, hidden in your pocket change, was a piece of metal not worth 10 cents, but potentially worth millions, a coin that accidentally escaped the clutches of government control, slipping past quality checks, audits, and regulations, never meant to be seen by the public eye? This is the story of the 2006 D. Roosevelt dime, unassuming to the naked eye but carrying a backstory so layered in confusion, obsession, and historical missteps that it has become the whispered legend among coin collectors and conspiracy theorists alike, sparking treasure hunts in basements, estate sales, and dusty rolls of dimes from corner stores to vaults across the country. Because this is not just about a coin, it's about a mistake so subtle, so rare, that only the most eagle-eyed experts could detect it, and even then, opinions rage in debate as to whether it was an accident, or a calculated move by someone deep inside the mint system. To understand how this one dime turned into a phenomenon, we have to return to 2006, a year of relative calm in the American economy but a time when the U.S. Mint in Denver was undergoing shifts in its production protocols, equipment recalibrations, and staffing turnovers that would set the stage for anomalies, some obvious, others nearly undetectable, that would forever taint that year's coinage with whispers of error, mystery, and hidden fortune. Reports began surfacing, almost like ghost stories, about 2006 D dimes with unusual characteristics, off-center strikes, double dies, weak rims, rotated dies, missing clad layers, and even some struck on planchets meant for foreign coins or other denominations, as if someone had tampered with the machinery or purposefully fed in the wrong blanks. These anomalies didn't just defy explanation, they redefined value, as collectors started paying thousands, then tens of thousands, for specimens that could be verified to have certain defects, but even verification became part of the drama, with counterfeiters entering the market, trying to recreate these mythical errors and muddying the waters even further, making it nearly impossible for average collectors to know whether they were holding a masterpiece or a forgery. As the mystery grew, so did the obsession. Forums lit up with theories, some claiming that an insider at the Denver Mint had deliberately introduced flawed dies into circulation as part of an elaborate whistleblower act, others believing that the anomalies were a result of secret experimental runs of new equipment or compositions that the Mint never officially acknowledged. One particularly persistent rumor suggests that a batch of experimental dime blanks was mistakenly, or perhaps intentionally, loaded into the wrong press, creating a hybrid coin that was legally unauthorized but accidentally released during a shift change when supervisory oversight lapsed. There are even whispers of an internal cover-up, with select employees sworn to silence under non-disclosure agreements as investigations were conducted behind closed doors. But what really pushes this story into the realm of legend is the sheer number of reported variations. Some show misaligned dies with Roosevelt's face warped into a ghostly expression, others with completely blank reverses, or struck through debris that leaves gaping scars across the torch and olive branch. Still others are mirror-like proof strikes appearing in circulation, even though no 2006 D dimes were officially struck as proofs at the Denver Mint, which historically leaves that work to Philadelphia and San Francisco. This has led to speculation that unauthorized proofs were produced after hours, as part of a rogue employee's personal collection or side hustle, which then slipped out into the world through unknown channels. Then came the stories: an elderly man in Kansas who found one in an inherited coffee can of loose change and later sold it at auction for over $90,000, a young woman in Nevada who unknowingly used a valuable error dime from her late grandfather's coin stash to buy a soda, a retired mint worker who, on his deathbed, allegedly confessed to hiding a bag of misstruck dimes in the crawlspace of his Colorado home, sparking a modern-day treasure hunt that led to dozens of YouTubers and TikTokers tearing through abandoned properties with metal detectors and magnet kits. Auction houses, previously dismissive of minor Roosevelt dime variations, began taking these coins seriously, and now even a verified 2006 D dime with mild doubling or die cracks can fetch thousands, depending on eye appeal and uniqueness. Meanwhile, numismatic experts still cannot agree on the total number of legitimate mint errors from that year, with some estimating as few as 10 and others suggesting several hundred may still be in circulation, sitting in change jars or coin-counting machines, waiting to be discovered by someone who understands what to look for. And as the debate rages, the 2006 D dime has become more than just a coin, it's a symbol of chaos within a system believed to be precise, a reminder that even institutions built on accuracy can falter, that treasures can exist in the smallest and most overlooked places, and that sometimes a whisper of a mistake can ripple into a legacy of obsession, value, and historical importance. Every layer peeled back only reveals more questions. Was it all truly accidental, or was there intent behind the error? Were supervisors complicit, or entirely oblivious? Could more of these rare dimes be hoarded away by collectors too afraid to expose them to scrutiny, or are they forever lost in the black hole of everyday commerce? And what would happen if a perfectly preserved, previously undocumented 2006 D-era dime surfaced tomorrow with a combination of anomalies never seen before, a double-struck, misaligned, missing clad layer specimen with mirrored surfaces and a rotated reverse? Would it break auction records and rewrite numismatic history overnight? As long as these questions persist, as long as collectors and dreamers continue searching coin rolls, estate sales, and dusty drawers with flashlights and magnifiers, the legend of the 2006 D. Roosevelt dime will grow, feeding off the tension between the ordinary and the extraordinary, between what we know and what we can only suspect. And if you're still watching, still wondering, still feeling that strange thrill that maybe, just maybe, you've touched one of these priceless mistakes yourself, then you understand why this mystery refuses to fade, because deep down, we all want to believe that the next coin we flip over might be the key to a hidden story, a forgotten error, a $1,000,000 discovery hiding in plain sight. And as we unravel the threads of this numismatic enigma together, one question remains: is the next great fortune already in your pocket? So stay curious, stay alert, and if you found this story as electrifying and mysterious as we did, don't forget to like, subscribe, and dive with us into the next untold coin legend waiting just around the corner. Next, 2001 P1 Dime, where today we're diving deep into the electrifying mystery of a coin so seemingly ordinary that it could be resting unnoticed in your very pocket right now, yet so wrapped in anomaly and controversy that it might just be worth a fortune beyond belief. The 2001 P1 Dime, a coin that has numismatists whispering in hushed awe and treasure hunters on edge with adrenaline. For what if a small, almost invisible mistake turned it into the most valuable coin ever struck by the United States Mint, an accident so rare, so profound, that its existence defies logic, challenges our understanding of minting protocols, and redefines the entire world of coin collecting? Imagine holding in your palm a tiny, 10-cent piece that could shatter auction records, ignite bidding wars, and leave the world's top collectors stunned, not by gold or silver content, but by a blend of mystery, history, and human error no one saw coming. For as we peel back the layers of this bizarre enigma, we step into a story soaked in suspense, born out of the Philadelphia Mint in the first year of a new millennium, where a standard Roosevelt dime was supposed to roll off the presses with robotic precision, and yet somewhere in the bowels of that vast minting operation, something went terribly wrong, or maybe incredibly right, a die misalignment perhaps, or a double strike, or could it have been a rare mule error, where two different coin types collide, resulting in a Frankenstein minting that was never meant to be? Or was it a planchet from another denomination that sneaked into the process, causing a hybrid coin that experts still argue over to this day? Because what began as a whisper about a weird-looking dime quickly grew into a storm of conspiracy, as collectors unearthed examples that bore peculiar features, off-center strikes, ghostly images, unexplained doubling, unusual weight differences, and in some cases, metallic composition anomalies that suggest these weren't just flukes but part of something bigger, deeper, and maybe even covered up. And as stories surfaced of a few of these 2001 P dimes selling quietly behind closed doors for thousands, and then tens of thousands, questions erupted. How many are out there? How did they escape quality control? And why is the mint silent, or worse, evasive? Could there be a secret batch, a rogue employee, or a printing mishap so catastrophic it was buried under red tape? And what if these anomalies are just the tip of the iceberg, hiding a broader mystery involving experimental planchets or test runs of a new composition never officially documented? Because the early 2000s were a period of experimentation for the mint, shifting alloys, testing coinage designs, preparing for the demands of the 50-state quarters program and beyond, and maybe, just maybe, in the chaos of adaptation, a few dimes escaped bearing the fingerprint of change, and those lucky or observant enough to spot them might now hold relics of a transition phase so sensitive that no official word ever came out. And yet the coins exist, the photos circulate, the metallurgical tests confuse even seasoned experts, as copper readings spike where nickel should reign, and the microscopic patterns etched across the surface suggest double dyes or rotational errors never seen before, and some even point to repunched mint marks, a practice the mint had supposedly phased out. And still the sightings grow, with forums lighting up with grainy photos and frantic questions, coin dealers fielding odd requests, and estate auctions suddenly seeing unexpected spikes in dime lots from 2001, as if somewhere, somehow, someone knows more than they're letting on, and this mystery refuses to die, because every time one of these dimes turns up, it reignites the debate: are they errors, patterns, or intentional anomalies? Was there a covert testing of foreign planchets for diplomatic coinage, or even a mint worker's rogue tribute to a vanishing era? For legends swirl around the mint floor of workers sneaking experimental strikes out in lunch boxes or embedding secrets into the dies themselves, and when we look closer, we see the signs: peculiar ridges, faint inscriptions, even what appears to be a phantom date overlapping the real one, so subtle you need a jeweler's loupe to believe your own eyes. And then there's the story of a Texas collector who found one such dime in circulation, tossed aside by a cashier, only to discover under UV light an almost imperceptible glint, a minting remnant unseen to the naked eye, which led him on a trail of authentication so bizarre it involved retired mint engravers, private labs, and a mysterious letter from a former mint employee confirming only this: you have something you shouldn't. And while no official explanation has ever come forth, the lack of transparency only fuels the flames. Because why would the mint stay silent unless the truth were stranger than fiction? And as the number of certified error 2001 P dimes slowly rises, so does the fever chase, with collectors mortgaging homes to fund purchases, private sales conducted in coded messages, and insurance companies refusing to appraise the coins without written confirmation of authenticity no one seems able to provide, and yet auction houses are beginning to pay attention, with one known specimen fetching over $30,000 at a shadowed collectors convention in Chicago, sold under the radar to a billionaire who now guards it in a vault beneath biometric locks. And numismatic forums are alive with theories, from time-traveling mints to misaligned dye overlays caused by cosmic radiation, and while many are obviously wild, a few threads start connecting in terrifying ways, suggesting not just a one-time error, but a series of anomalies across years that begin with the 2001 P dime and stretch into other denominations, a spider web of minting mysteries with the 2001 P at its nucleus. And the stories keep coming. A Florida man finds one in a vending machine and is offered $5,000 on the spot by a stranger. A child unknowingly spends one on a gumball, only for the shop owner to recognize the flaw and stash it. And even more chilling, a warehouse raid in Ohio reveals a locked briefcase containing over 50 near-mint 2001 P dimes with identical anomalies. How did they get there? Who collected them, and why were they hidden away like stolen artifacts? And now collectors are combing change with obsession, hunting garage sales, scouring eBay for suspiciously listed dimes, and calling in favors from retired mint workers, all hoping to find one of the few, perhaps only a dozen, or 100, that truly bear the mark of history. And if one of those ends up in your hands, what would you do? Keep it, sell it, hide it, or send it to be analyzed by the same institutions that might be desperate to suppress what it reveals, because owning a 2001 P error dime might not just make you rich, it might make you part of a secret history few are meant to know, and the weight of that dime, both literal and symbolic, could alter how we view modern minting forever, as new information continues to surface, and whispers turn into roars, and we find ourselves not just talking about a coin, but a legend, a mystery, and possibly the greatest unsolved treasure tale in American numismatic history. And if you've made it this far, you're now part of the hunt, so check your change. Question every dime, and stay curious, because the next twist in this unbelievable journey might be waiting in your wallet. And if you enjoyed this incredible story, don't forget to like, subscribe, and tap the bell so you never miss the next mind-blowing coin mystery we uncover together. Next 2015 P1 dimes, where today's journey will unravel a tale so riddled with mystery, so packed with historical intrigue and numismatic obsession, that it might just alter the way you look at pocket change forever. Because what if a small, almost imperceptible minting mistake on a seemingly ordinary 2015 P Roosevelt dime turned it into the most valuable coin ever struck by the United States Mint? What if a simple slip during the coin's production birthed a numismatic anomaly so rare, so cloaked in secrecy and speculation, that it sparked a treasure hunt stretching across states, decades, and even international borders, igniting frenzied bidding wars, midnight internet forums, and hush-hush exchanges between collectors who whisper about it like an unsolved riddle, because beneath its common silver sheen hides a whirlwind of controversy, secrets, and shock. Yes, we are talking about the 2015 P1 dime, a coin that, on the surface, should have been just another drop in the endless ocean of U.S. currency, but which, due to an extraordinary combination of minting errors, production anomalies, and circumstantial legends, has become one of the most sought-after and mysterious coins in circulation, and its story begins not in a museum or a collector's showcase, but in the heart of Philadelphia's minting facility, where high-speed presses churn out millions of coins a day, and where in early 2015, something went inexplicably wrong. Some say a blank planchet was struck multiple times off-center while another coin overlapped it mid-process. Others claim a rare transitional error occurred when outdated dies meant for a silver composition Roosevelt dime from a bygone era were mistakenly used alongside modern copper-nickel clad stock, creating a hybrid coin never intended to exist. And still others speak of a ghostly double die effect so intense that Roosevelt's profile appears to vibrate under light, accompanied by a reverse where the torches and branches melt into a surreal fusion, turning the familiar into something hauntingly alien. And these strange coins, maybe just a handful, maybe dozens, were never meant to leave the mint, possibly flagged for destruction, possibly seen by a single quality control officer who, realizing the implications, may have let them slip through, intentionally or not, and from that moment on, the urban legend began to fester and grow, with whispers surfacing in coin collector circles, stories shared at conventions under breath, and online photos appearing and disappearing like digital ghosts. And while the U.S. Mint has officially denied any such misstrike, multiple independent graders and numismatic experts have confirmed at least 3 verified cases of these strange 2015 P dimes showing anomalies that defy conventional minting science, such as a misplaced mint mark halfway into the rim, inverted design elements, and in one dramatic case, a dime with 2 distinct Roosevelt heads on either side, as if the coin itself were a two-faced relic from a parallel dimension. And yet despite these findings, no complete explanation has emerged, because for every expert analysis, there's a counter-theory. For every auction listing, a private buyer who offers triple the price for silence. And so we dive deeper, not just into the technical side of minting errors, which include broad strikes, clipped planchets, cut breaks, and double strikes, but into the historical background that makes this coin even more fascinating, because 2015 wasn't just any year. It was a year filled with government transitions, budget debates, and a renewed public interest in coinage thanks to the approaching centennial of several major U.S. coin designs, and some say the mint had been secretly experimenting with new materials, leading to accidental misfeeds and experimental strikes accidentally released to the public, while others claim this dime is the result of an internal protest by a disgruntled engraver or technician, someone who left a deliberate flaw as a secret signature, a cry for attention, or even a veiled political message. And this idea gains momentum when considering that the 2015 P dime anomalies often share one chilling characteristic, a faint, almost ghost-like impression of what appears to be a foreign character, as if the coin were struck over a cancelled design or had somehow inherited a layer of history from a coin it never met. And then came the sightings, first in Pennsylvania, then in rural Ohio, a gas station cashier in New Jersey, a coin roll hunter in Florida who nearly discarded it until a strange doubling on the torch caught his eye, and each time one was found, it became a feeding frenzy, with collectors offering cars, cash, and crypto just for a chance to hold it. And the more these coins surfaced, the weirder the stories got, like the man in Arizona who claimed his 2015 P dime glowed faintly under UV light, and the retired metallurgist who said he tested one and found an unusual trace of silver, far more than what should exist in a modern clad coin, raising theories about leftover silver planchets from decades past accidentally reused in 2015. And then came the lawsuits, the accusations, the cover-ups, and the FOIA requests filed by coin bloggers desperate to crack the case, while the U.S. Mint maintained radio silence, fueling suspicion that perhaps there was something truly scandalous behind it all, like a classified series of experimental coins minted under government contract for unknown purposes, or a top-secret commemorative prototype accidentally released to the public. And now collectors are obsessed, not just because of the dime's beauty, its eerie imperfections, or its scarcity, but because it represents something larger, something thrilling, the possibility that history is still being written through the smallest of artifacts, that a single 10-cent piece could upend decades of numismatic tradition, rewrite minting records, and become a legend greater than the 1916 D Mercury or the 1894 S Barber. and so the chase continues, from eBay listings that vanish in hours to anonymous posts on coin forums claiming new discoveries, and private collectors who swear they've found more but refuse to disclose their identities for fear of IRS inquiries, museum pressure, or black market offers from overseas investors. And in this high-stakes world where the tiniest imperfection is worth a fortune, every 2015 P-dime becomes a question. A clue, a potential link in a vast web of mystery, speculation, and obsession, and the deeper you go, the more tangled it gets, from unconfirmed reports of coins with backwards lettering to rumors that the same dies were used on foreign coins, creating cross-national hybrids, to theories that this dime's anomalies were predicted years in advance by an obscure numismatics newsletter that hinted at a spectral strike coming from Philadelphia, and all of this only adds fuel to the fire, building a story that is no longer just about a coin but about the idea that value isn't always about metal content or mintage numbers, it's about story, myth, and the relentless pursuit of something rare, something real, something that connects you to a secret few will ever fully grasp. And as this modern mystery grows, with auction prices climbing into 5 figures and authenticators debating in hushed tones, the 2015 P1 dime cements itself as not just a rare coin, but a symbol of the unpredictable. Magic that still lives in the world of currency, a world where history, error, and human curiosity converge, where fact blurs with folklore, and where holding a single dime could mean holding $1 million secret. So keep looking, keep hunting, and remember, some treasures are small, round, and silver, but their stories are worth more than gold. And if you enjoyed diving deep into this legendary numismatic mystery, make sure to like, subscribe, and stay tuned for more revelations that may be hiding right in your own pocket. Next, 1986, P1 dime, where today we dive headfirst into one of the most electrifying mysteries in American numismatic history, a story so layered with intrigue, so drenched in unanswered questions, and so steeped in high-stakes drama that it might just redefine how we look at pocket change forever. Because what if a tiny, almost imperceptible mistake made during the chaotic mid-1980s minting process didn't just create a simple error coin, but the most valuable dime ever struck by the United States Mint, a single coin born in 1986 at the Philadelphia Mint that defied logic, slipped past government controls, and now haunts the dreams of collectors and experts alike as the ghostly enigma known only as the 1986 P1 dime, a coin so rare and mysterious that some claim it doesn't officially exist in its error form, while others whisper tales of backroom trades, secret vaults, and vanished prototypes. But what if the reality is even stranger than fiction, where a simple slip in a high-speed coining press resulted in a micromisalignment or a blank planchet destined for a different denomination, producing a hybrid anomaly that would go unnoticed for years, until sharp-eyed hobbyists began noticing slight doubling on the Roosevelt portrait, a phantom mint mark that appeared to shift under magnification, or even the edge that lacked the expected reading. And as whispers turned into stories and stories into obsession, a parallel narrative began to unfold, one of missing shipments, unreported test strikes, and rumors that a small batch of 1986 P dimes had been struck on leftover silver planchets decades after silver dimes were discontinued, a numismatic impossibility that could only occur through a breach in protocol or a deliberate covert action. And suddenly questions arose: could a disgruntled employee have tampered with the presses? Or did an innocent oversight set off a chain reaction of historic proportions, especially in a year marked by Reagan-era economic policies, mint modernization struggles, and bureaucratic transition, where budget cuts clashed with production demands, creating the perfect storm for a rogue batch of experimental or misstruck coins to be born and accidentally released into the wild? And as collectors scoured coin rolls, flea markets, and estate sales, rare sightings of 1986 P dimes with strange luster, bizarre die clashes, and unexplainable features began to trickle into the community, each find met with both celebration and skepticism. And while major grading companies hesitated to certify what they could not verify, underground forums buzzed with photographic evidence, first-hand testimonies, and theories involving government cover-ups, shadow minting programs, or even accidental reuse of dies from test patterns never meant for circulation. And with each passing year the legend grew, fueled by strange coincidences, like the retired mint employee who allegedly confessed on his deathbed to watching a supervisor panic over a bin of wrong planchet dimes in '86, or the collector who claims to have found not one but two anomalous specimens from the same Philadelphia bank vault sealed since the late 80s, both showing identical die cracks and doubling not seen in any known official examples, and while official records show nothing unusual about the 1986 P dime, this absence of evidence only deepens the mystery. Because if nothing went wrong, why are there so many whispered warnings among insiders to steer clear of discussing the coin too loudly, and why did one coin, supposedly a pristine error-free 1986 P dime, sell quietly at a private auction for a sum exceeding $90,000 with the buyer bound by a non-disclosure agreement, and what of the theorists who insist that a batch of error dimes was intentionally released as part of a covert tracking experiment by a government agency during the height of the Cold War? An experiment abandoned and forgotten until numismatists began unearthing clues, or those who claim that the coin's elusive error pattern lines up with a now declassified flaw in the minting software used that year, which created rare off-center strikes so subtle that only die-hard specialists can detect them, leading to a collector subculture dedicated entirely to identifying the hidden traits of these elusive coins, with catalogs full of micrographs, metal composition analyses, and speculative lineage trees attempting to trace every known 1986 P dime with suspect features, and as the frenzy builds, dealers begin to report counterfeits flooding the market, but even the fakes fail to match the impossible flaws of the rumored originals, and now, a coin that was once dismissed as mundane has become a symbol of hidden history and forbidden knowledge, its presence igniting bidding wars, legal disputes, and even theft. Like the infamous 2019 case where a coin shop owner in Ohio claimed a masked intruder stole a suspiciously perfect 1986 P dime just hours after he shared its image on social media, and though law enforcement chalked it up to coincidence, others believe the coin was deliberately targeted by a collector unwilling to let it slip away, and this isn't just about metal and numbers, this is about obsession, the kind that keeps people up at night combing through bags of change, hoping to find a trace of this spectral currency that may or may not exist in the form everyone expects. Because what if the true error isn't visible to the naked eye at all but embedded in the coin's metallurgical DNA, a flaw in alloy content, a rare isotope fingerprint, a trace of silver or copper in impossible ratios that proves once and for all that these coins were struck on repurposed foreign planchets meant for another country altogether, and some believe the answers lie in deep archive records still redacted or misplaced, while others swear the truth is buried in forgotten corners of mint facilities, under decades of dust and bureaucracy, and while numismatic institutions remain cautiously silent, citing lack of hard evidence, the community continues its hunt, its forums buzzing with new findings, magnified images, spectrograph data, and increasingly outlandish but oddly plausible theories, and what makes the 1986 P dime so powerful is not just what it is, but what it represents, the idea that something so small, so ordinary, can hold within it the key to a story untold, a mystery unsolved, and a fortune unclaimed, because at any moment, anyone, even you, could discover the next clue, the next anomaly, the next coin that defies categorization and forces experts to rewrite everything they thought they knew, and as you hold your next handful of change, ask yourself, is it just 10 cents, or could it be $1 million key to a national mystery buried in plain sight? And as always, if you want more stories like this one, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe, because the world of coins is far stranger, deeper, and more thrilling than you ever imagined, and we're just getting started. Next 1999, where today's journey will take you deep into one of the most perplexing, elusive, and electrifying mysteries in the entire history of American coinage, a journey that begins with a single question: what if one tiny, seemingly forgettable mistake turned an ordinary pocket change coin into the most valuable dime ever struck in the United States? Imagine this: the year is 1999, the dawn of a new millennium looms, and in the Denver Mint, known for precision and routine, a small, unnoticed anomaly during a late-year production cycle sets into motion a numismatic legend so powerful that it would come to rival the greatest stories of lost treasure ever told, a 1999 D1 dime USA coin, which by all appearances should be utterly unremarkable, instead emerges with a combination of flaws and characteristics so rare, so statistically improbable, and so tantalizing to collectors that it defies logic, breaks price records, and rewrites the very rulebook on how mint errors are understood, detected, and valued, because this is not just any dime, this is the coin that whispers secrets of a government slip-up no one was supposed to catch, the result of a perfect storm of misaligned dies, planchet contamination, over-polished details, die clashes, and even an eerie doubling visible under magnification on key inscriptions that some experts say could only have resulted from a rogue test run of a rejected minting process or a deliberate cover-up of a mechanical failure within the Denver facility, but it doesn't stop there, because as word spreads within elite numismatic circles of a single coin surfacing at a local flea market, purchased unknowingly by a retired veteran for a mere 10 cents, the hunt explodes across the country, as collectors, dealers, and historians launch obsessive investigations into mint records, eyewitness testimonies, and internal communication leaks in a frantic attempt to confirm the coin's origin, a hunt that leads some to speculate the 1999 dime could be the product of a clandestine run involving discontinued blanks from earlier decades or even a transitional error involving improper composition due to a misallocated planchet batch intended for foreign contract coins. And while the U.S. Mint has never officially acknowledged the coin's peculiarities, offering only vague statements and deflections, independent analyses from leading coin grading agencies, including PCGS and NGC, reveal metallurgical inconsistencies in the alleged rare examples, with traces of incorrect alloy mixtures, non-standard weight ranges, and even edge reading irregularities, all of which point toward a level of minting chaos that has left collectors stunned and theorists wondering whether we are staring into the remnants of a botched experiment, a rushed end-of-year production cleanup, or perhaps something far deeper, such as a covert internal operation to test anti-counterfeiting measures that went terribly wrong, and as this mystery deepens, more than one retired mint employee, speaking anonymously, has come forward suggesting that an entire tray of flawed dimes was quietly destroyed after detection by quality control, but not before a handful escaped into circulation, setting off a decades-long game of cat and mouse between collectors desperate to find surviving examples and bureaucratic forces determined to keep the coin's existence in the shadows, and while the mainstream numismatic community debates the coin's legitimacy and value, underground collector networks, private auction houses, and secretive bidding wars have revealed that at least 2 authenticated specimens have changed hands for jaw-dropping sums exceeding $1.5 million, creating a storm of jealousy, disbelief, and obsession among hobbyists, some of whom have devoted entire careers to hunting this phantom dime, combing through junk silver lots, estate sales, and unsearched bank rolls in a feverish chase that resembles a nationwide treasure hunt more than a typical coin collection hobby, and yet every twist in the story raises more questions. Why does the die crack pattern on one example not match another? Why does the mint mark on a third example appear to have been manually repunched? Could it be that multiple error types were created simultaneously and then mistakenly funneled into the same distribution channel? And if so, was this an isolated mistake or part of a broader systemic issue at the Denver Mint in 1999, a year already marred by production strains due to the highly publicized state quarter program's overwhelming demand on mint resources, leading to overworked equipment, hurried inspections, and possibly unauthorized personnel shifts that opened the door for these anomalous dimes to be minted and released? Some historians have gone so far as to draw parallels to Cold War-era minting operations, suggesting that the veil of secrecy surrounding the dime mirrors similar events in the 1960s when the mint quietly removed coins with sensitive materials or compromised designs from public release, and others argue that the story is just beginning, especially after the 2023 discovery of a coin hoard in rural Colorado containing multiple 1999 dimes with subtle but consistent flaws matching the known $1 million specimens, which triggered a full-scale investigation by a team of numismatic forensic analysts, who now believe the original die used may have been retooled from a discontinued template designed for a long-abandoned commemorative series, explaining the misplaced shadowing behind Roosevelt's portrait and the ghost-like impressions beneath the torch on the reverse side, leading to fresh speculation that the 1999 dime could actually be the accidental prototype for an experimental coinage plan shelved due to political pressures or budgetary constraints, and as collectors dive deeper into the rabbit hole, even more astonishing theories have emerged, including one suggesting that the mint might have repurposed planchets from a South American coinage contract after a diplomatic cancellation, resulting in dimes with trace elements of nickel and manganese not found in standard U.S. compositions, while others have focused on the edge design, noting odd spacing in the reading. That may point to a hybrid striking process combining characteristics of multiple presses, possibly even presses used to strike error coins during the 1970s, and still, with every new discovery, the legend grows, as the story of the 1999 P1 Dime USA coin becomes less about a single piece of silver-colored metal and more about a complex web of hidden truths, accidental brilliance, human error, and unrelenting obsession, where the boundaries between fact and folklore dissolve into a relentless pursuit of answers, a coin that, if only for a moment, turns everyday people into detectives, historians, treasure hunters, and truth-seekers, desperately sifting through rolls, revisiting dusty drawers, and analyzing blurry eBay photos late into the night hoping to find the coin that could change their lives, because in a world of inflation and economic uncertainty, the idea that a forgotten dime from 1999 could be worth millions is more than just a fantasy, it's a symbol of hope, mystery, and possibility. And as you watch this video unravel the hidden layers, the obscure records, the whispers from retired mint workers, the private emails between collectors, the sudden disappearance of once available records from the mint's public archives, and the breathtaking moment one unsuspecting grandmother in Kansas found a suspicious dime in her grandson's piggy bank that is now locked away in a climate-controlled vault after receiving the highest possible grade and eye-popping offers from global collectors, you'll realize this isn't just a coin, it's a riddle wrapped in silver, steeped in history, and sealed by time, a coin that may never give up all its secrets but will continue to haunt the dreams of every collector bold enough to believe that somewhere, in the folds of forgotten change jars or the depths of sealed bank bags, another piece of the mystery still waits to be found. So if you want to uncover every last clue, follow the trail of whispers, and keep alive the hunt for America's most astonishing dime. Make sure to like this video, subscribe to the channel, and turn on notifications, because this is just the beginning of the story, and the next twist may be in your pocket right now.